Hello everyone, I am back with another video. If you're new here, I'm Molly. I do content on books, all sorts of different genres, and a mixture of mainstream and Christian fiction, as well as some non-fiction here and there as well. Today, I am doing a video for my November TBR, and today it is going to be about another readathon. I know I might as well just call this the readathon channel. I won't necessarily always be doing readathons, but it looks like I will be to the end of the year at least. So yeah, without further ado, let's talk about the readathon I am taking a part in and what I've chosen. So the readathon I'm taking part in is the Historiathon. I will link the host and her co-hosts down below. It's a month-long readathon. There is also a group read, which is the Briar Club, I think. I can't remember the author. I think it might be Kate Quinn, but I could be wrong. Just check their channels down below. It's a group read that also fulfills all the prompts, or most of them, I think, anyway. And that is an option for you to do if you want. I won't be participating with that particular book, but I will be doing the other prompts. So, there are 9 prompts in all. It's your typical bingo board shape and amount of prompts. So yes, I'm going to go in order of books in my pile. You can double up if you want, which I will be doing. There will be also like not an honourable mention, but a possibility, because I don't know. I mean, I think they will all fulfill the actual prompts that I've got them in for, picked them up for, but I'm not 100% sure. And there's one that is a continuation from last month, October, and funnily enough, that does also fulfill a prompt as well. So let's get started. My first book that I am planning to read this month is Stardust by Neil Gaiman. This is to fulfill the historical fiction adaptation. So it's a book that has a film or TV adaptation, and obviously Stardust is. Now I know it is fantasy, but it is set, historically in the past. It's kind of like a mixture of real life and fantasy. So I would say this counts. It's not exactly set in modern times. So I'm not sure when it's set. I want to say maybe the 1900s, maybe 18. Maybe neither. I'm not sure. Either way, it's not exactly set in the 20th or 21st century, either of those. So that's what this will fulfill. Yeah, that's the only one that will fulfill. Book number 2 is the 4th book in the Murder Most Unladylike series. This is Jolly Foul Play, and this book and book series is by Robin Stevens. Now this will fulfill a couple of prompts. One of them is historical mystery / thriller. This is a mystery, children's mystery, and this is set in the 1920s, so historical. And this also fulfills the prompt of societal issues / cultural perspectives, because that prompt is about, reading about a culture or a person's experiences that's different from your own, in terms of, say a person of colour, for example, or a certain country, or probably even different religions, etc. And it is children's, so I don't know how deeply it goes in, and it's also a book I've not read, so I don't know if it goes into it much, but I know the first three have lightly not necessarily talked about, but shown racism, because basically the main character, who, because it's written in her POV, is Chinese living in England, so, you know, it tackles racism in the 1920s, certainly in little bits. I don't know how much that will go into it in this particular book, but because the other previous ones have, I'm expecting this to also be similar, if not more in depth. I have no idea if Robin, the author, goes more into those issues at any point in the series, not necessarily in this book, but, you know, maybe in this book. I don't know. I've not looked it up, and obviously I've not read any of the other books, only the first three. So, yes, I'm hoping this will do that. I think that's it. Let me check. Yeah, it's just those two prompts. So, yeah, this is going to fulfill mystery and hopefully societal issues / cultural perspectives. The next book I am hoping to read is The Convenient Marriage by Georgette Heyer. I don't know how you pronounce her last name. This is to fulfill the prompt historical romance, and yeah, that's self-explanatory. The host does say it doesn't have to be a romance book, but it has to have a prevalent sort of romance storyline in the book, at least. So yeah, I thought I'd pick this. I've got a few Georgette Heyer's books. I've only read one so far. I've got 4, including this one that I haven't read. And this is the shortest out of all of the 4 options I could have picked. So I thought I'd do that because, yeah, I'm a bit of a slow reader usually. Depends on the book and stuff, but yeah. Historical romance. This next book is one that I have picked for a different prompt, not because the next one, the last official book that I'm going to talk about after this one is obviously historical, but I'm not 100% sure if it includes any sort of war or conflict. Now, judging from the character it's about and the era it's in, I'm assuming there is, but just in case, I've picked this book, for the war and conflict, I think. Oh, and also, again, the last book could also fulfill this. I've also picked it for unfamiliar historical era, kind of, but also a book that has a strong sense of place. So, like, the place it is set is either like a big part of the story, or it's really descriptive and it's immersive for the reader, or at least you might find it immersive anyway, as well as war and conflict. And both of these last books, I would say, will probably fulfill that prompt. One of them definitely will, and that's this one. And this is An Echo in the Darkness by Francine Rivers. This is book 2 in the Mark of the Lion trilogy. I recently read book 1 last month and the month before. If you've seen my previous videos, you know why it's taken me so long. The first book was initially a buddy read, but it didn't work out, unfortunately. So I finished that off last month, officially. So yeah, this is book 2. And I picked this because I know the first one has war and conflict, and I assume this one will continue in that realm of things. And I also picked it because I certainly found the first one, and I assume this one will be too. I found it really immersive. Francine Rivers looked like she did a lot of research on the Roman times, and Christianity in those times as well, and just the descriptions specifically in terms of where they are, whether that's in Rome or in Germany. Certainly in the first book, bits of it were from that, because one of the main characters, I guess, one of the male main characters, he was one of the tribes in Germany, so like there were descriptions for that as well as everything else. Either way, I found it really absorbing, and I was immersed in that time and those different countries and places. So that's why I picked book 2, because I'm going to assume it's probably going to be like that in this as well. So yeah, that's why I picked this one. It is also something I'm kind of unfamiliar with. I've not read much biblical or historical fiction in general, so I have picked this one for that. So my last official book is this one. This is Nero by Con Igulden. I don't know how to pronounce his name. This is a kind of recentish book. I think it came out this year. That's why it's so big in the hardback, because yeah. So yeah, this, as the name suggests, is to do with Emperor Nero. Yeah, I think it's kind of about his start, I think. Certainly initially, I don't know whether it goes on to when he was the Emperor of Rome. I'm not sure. I think it's Rome. Or Greece. Either way. Oh wait, no. Literally at the bottom it says Rome wasn't burned in a day. So, I'm sorry, it's quite late when I'm filming this. I'm a bit behind my personal schedule of when I normally want to film. So, and it's currently quite late at night, which is why I've got this shadow and this light. So, yeah. So this is set in the Roman times, and it's about Emperor Nero. I don't know if it details any sort of the time when he is emperor. I don't know, but it's certainly about his beginnings. So I'm using this to fulfill multiple prompts. Unfamiliar historical era for exploration, because I know I've read A Voice in the Wind, and I'm hoping to read the sequel. But like the Roman era in general as well is not something I'm that familiar with. So it fulfills that as well as the other one doing that as well. Also, this is to fulfill the prompt, a book about a famous historical person. Obviously, that's what this is. And this also could have a strong sense of place. I don't know, just because of the Roman era. It always gives me the impression that it is quite immersive in that way. But I don't know whether, the author will be like that, like Francine Rivers, I don't know. But it could fulfill that prompt. And obviously war and conflict. I assume it is. It sounds like it could be from the blurb that I read on the little sleeve on there, because there's like a whole blurb. It sounds quite conflicty. So again, this will fulfill that prompt. But also in particular, I am using this to fulfill the historical non-fiction / fiction hybrid, which is quite a difficult one to fulfill. The host of this readathon said that as long as it's something that has a lot of research gone into it, so like in the author's note, the author talks about how, they've done a lot of research into that particular person or historical era or both, and this one seems to have done that when I had a look, because let me show you. So right at the end, or right near the end, there's a whole section called historical notes, and from the looks of things, he goes quite in depth on all of the different people / characterizations of the people in that time for quite a few different pages. So, and I would say that's quite, in-depth research myself. I'm going to use this to fulfill that prompt. She did say it's quite difficult to find that. She also said another way of fulfilling it is if there's actual, research in the actual story. So, it might have, I don't know, well, not screenshots, but you know, pictures of, like, say, letters or information about that person or place, you know, like historical documents, stuff like that. If you watch her video, she'll give a proper explanation for that. I'm probably butchering it. I apologise. So yeah, I'm hoping this will fulfill those prompts. So I've got an honourable mention here because this is a book that I started last month for a few readathons that I was doing in October. I've not filmed a wrap up yet. That will be my next video next week / the end of this week, because I'm hoping maybe Monday or Tuesday this will be up on my channel. Hopefully, we'll have to see. But an honourable mention is Dracul by Dacre Stoker and J.D. Barker. This is a prequel of Dracula, which is based on or inspired, as it says on this, not actual sticker, but sticker looking print. It's inspired by the notes that Bram Stoker wrote or had for Dracula, the original story. And this is for historical thriller, really, or more accurately horror, really. Although I didn't really find it scary. I haven't found it scary. I find it's not as easy to have scary things in books, and that might just be me. But I find I've gotten more scared by, like, watching something, like films or TV shows. I find, whilst I definitely have similar feelings, like I'm, you know, because I'm invested, it's not quite the same intensity because I'm reading it, so it doesn't take me out of the story, but I'm not quite as immersed in it because it's not images, it's words. I don't know if I'm describing that correctly, but basically I just don't find reading horror as scary as some people might. Again, that could just be my tolerance, because some people are more easily scared than others. So yeah, anyway, this is kind of like an honourable mention for the historical mystery / thriller, because obviously this is set in the 1800s? Yeah, just over the mid 1800s, like the 1860s, 1870s. So yes, this is like an honourable mention. This is, I would probably say, more of a horror than a thriller, but I'm kind of counting it because yeah, I don't know. It's like an honourable mention because I want to finish this. I've nearly finished it. I've got that much to go. So I'm not too, well, I say I'm not too far off. I've got like 120 odd-ish pages to go until I finish the actual story. So I'm just counting this as an extra sort of book for this month. So yeah, that's it. I may have other books that I'm reading this month, non-fiction wise, but I'm not necessarily going to talk about them unless I finish them in this month of November. Yes, that's about it. So yeah, that's what I am planning to read this month. And let me know what you're planning to read. Are you participating in the Historiathon? Or are you participating in any of the other readathons? I know there's a C.S. Lewis one, but I don't have enough to really do that one, and I kind of just don't want to have too much going on and this now. Last month I was doing 3 readathons, and I did, you know, use mostly the same books for each of them, and a few of them only for others, because like one of them might not necessarily have had a prompt that I could use that book for, but another one would. Just doing the one this month. I hope you have had a good week and weekend. I'm filming this on a Saturday night / it could be Sunday now, I don't know. That's how late at night it is. Yeah, it's officially Sunday. It's just after 5 past midnight. It is very late. I've just had a very busy end of this week, because I normally try and film on Thursday or on Friday and then edit and upload on Friday for Saturday. but I've had a busy Thursday and Friday, a few things that happened unexpectedly, and Saturday is always busy as well as Sunday, because obviously Sunday's church, and I usually go to two. It's a busy day, and it's an extra busy day tomorrow / today. Just one of those things. I hope you're all well. Getting to that time of year now where loads of people getting colds. I know my brother is often ill multiple times during these winter months. I pray you have a blessed rest of your week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.